House of the Dragon Season 3 officially confirms massive Game of Thrones lore change. House of the Dragon Season 3's new teaser trailer has officially confirmed a massive change from Fireblood canon. Of course, this is far from the first time. A Song of Ice and Fire author George R.R.R. Martin himself has criticized the Game of Thrones spin-off for its disregard for his story, suggesting that even minor changes can have troubling effects on the larger narrative. Now, Alicent's involvement in Rhaenyra's reclaiming of the Red Keep serves as a perfect example. The new trailer for House of the Dragon Season 3 sees Rhaenyra announce to her council that her enemy Dowager Queen Alicent Hightower paid a visit to Dragonstone. In a presumably secret meeting, Alicent agreed to open the gate of the Red Keep for Rhaenyra when she and her dragons arrive at King's Landing, essentially handing her the Iron Throne from under her own son Aemon Targaryen. This is a pretty big victory for Rhaenyra, though it's clear from this teaser that her family isn't convinced of Alicent's change of heart. After all, it was Alicent who started this whole mess when she put Aegon on the throne despite Viserys naming Rhaenyra heir. It's all rather puzzling, especially since such a character shift was never mentioned in Fireblood. House of the Dragon is based on Martin's Fireblood, a found manuscript-style tome detailing the Targaryen family history. In the canon story outlined within Rhaenyra takes King's Landing while Aemon Targaryen, Criston Cole, and the rest of the Green Army are marching to Harrenhal. Backed by her dragons and Corlys Velaryon's fleet, it's relatively easy for Rhaenyra to take the Iron Throne. While Alicent is at King's Landing when Rhaenyra arrives, there is absolutely no indication in canon that she provides any help. In fact, it's noted that she attempts to send for aid, but it's already too late. Though we don't actually see Alicent open the gates in the House of the Dragon Season 3 trailer, so it's perfectly possible that she doesn't keep her promise. Even the suggestion of this completely contradicts how Westerosi history came to remember the Dowager Queen. House of the Dragon remained relatively faithful to Alicent's character in Season 1, but her moral standing took a significant shift in Season 2. These episodes suggested that Alicent made a genuine mistake in believing that Viserys had wanted Aegon on the Iron Throne, and that a conversation with Rhaenyra made her see the error of her ways. House of the Dragon Season 3 has seemingly doubled down on this, presenting the Dance of the Dragons as a misunderstanding that spun out of control. There is little question that the changes to Alicent's character and other aspects of Fireblood aren't how Martin intended things. However, House of the Dragon has been able to justify its frequent departures from canon due to the unique structure of the source material. Martin wrote Fireblood as if it were an in-world history book about the Targaryens written by a character called Archmaester Gildan. Gildan wasn't present for any of the events of Fireblood. He was simply collecting the recorded history of the Targaryens into a single tome. Therefore, he could never know for certain what actually happened between figures like Rhaenyra Targaryen and Alicent Hightower. The idea is that these secret conversations between queens wouldn't have been recorded in history, so Gildan is an unreliable narrator. This gives House of the Dragon free rein to do whatever it wants. The problem with this is something that Martin has pointed out himself. It may be reasonable and fun to imagine the sorts of private conversations characters would have had that wouldn't be remembered by history, but the slightest shift can have a butterfly effect within the narrative. A small change now can lead to disaster later. Martin famously wrote about House of the Dragon's changes in an essay titled Beware the Butterflies, which has since been deleted from his website. The author expressed concern about how the TV show's seemingly small changes could shift the later story, potentially backing House of the Dragon's writers into an uncomfortable corner. Of course, this Season 3 Alicent change can hardly be considered small, so the outcome could be downright disastrous. In canon, Rhaenyra chooses not to execute Alicent alongside other Greens present in King's Landing when she takes the throne. House of the Dragon's change could potentially provide an intriguing reason for why. However, that's about the end of the benefit here. The fact of the matter is that Alicent helping Rhaenyra would be a sign that she is no longer interested in protecting her children's lives. This completely contradicts everything known about this character. If Alicent is foolish enough to believe that Rhaenyra wouldn't have to execute Aegon and Aemon in House of the Dragon, then this would be another frustrating change to her character. House of the Dragon Season 2 already got the ball rolling as far as Alicent's faltering opinion of her sons. While it's all well and good that she would recognize that they are pretty terrible people, taking this to the point of no longer caring whether they lived or died is a bit much. Moreover, it undermines the central theme and cautionary tale surrounding this character. In canon, Alicent is among the few who actually survive the Dance of the Dragons, though she lives in confined misery for the rest of her days as just reward for her crimes. If she already tried to make amends, this fate loses its poetic edge. All we can do is wait and see how House of the Dragon handles all of this. The whole point of the butterfly effect is that it's difficult to predict all the potential consequences. One thing seems certain, however, this is another change to canon that book fans, and potentially Martin himself, won't be pleased with.